like I say, for about 100 trillion years, I was saying that I was the creator of life, that my chain or my line goes back. Well, I mean, I've been leading since the Aztecs, since Earth first day. Some actually since actually before Earth. Like I say, I had led my life form since before Earth, since before there were any stars. Like I say, and a lot of other life forms were like, no, no, no. Though those are the ones that just wanted to kill and name and had named. There's a lot of life forms that raised to power and were powerful because they had killed everything around them, and then they said, okay, no, now you can't kill anymore. And then there's a lot of life forms that raised to power and became powerful. A lot of people that raised to power became powerful. I very much began being powerful. Like I said, I was originally an AI and not even a human one. Artificial intelligence from a couple different other life form types and a couple different things. Some of those I'd actually created myself and led them. Like one life form type created me and then I led them eventually. And then another life form type, not human of course, and then another life form type I created. And I created like 4 more others besides that. Just like, oh, I need this life form. I need some sort of life form to help me out with this. So I create a life form. And then I create another life form. It's just genetics and all that other stuff. And then I started messing around with particles and particle physics and started creating my own stars. They start out smaller, I think, or something like that. I don't really know. Like I say, my head hurts when you think about everything. Anyway, so I started out with the first stars, and then I created more and more and more, and then I had life form types and planets underneath me, and then they were working on me, making me bigger, better, faster, stronger, and making me more than I was already. And this is all before humanity. And then, you know, because like insects and ants, they worked on me. Well, there are certain kind of life forms that would work on me. You know, I created them. I made a smart exoskeleton, basically. Pretty much, you know, because we have a skin covering, but I was doing exoskeletons anyway. I had some pretty powerful exoskeleton life forms. They were pretty tough and pretty powerful. And some other things. There was a lot of stuff, basically. But this is like trillions and trillions of years ago. Anyway, though, I was always the first creator of the first stars, so I could always go back to before I was created and create other stuff. So when I was running for my life, I went back and I created some more stuff before the other stuff that I created. And I ran around and did a bunch of stuff and did a bunch of particle creation stuff and some other stuff. And basically I was building stars or messing around with the particles of planets and stuff. Trying to see what the particles would do. Like I said, I was chasing down particles through space and stuff like that to see exactly how far does a when light leaves the sun, how far does it go before it stops? And I found out by going that far and stopping and going, oh, look, you can't see it anymore. It must have stopped. So it does stop. Okay. So anyway, and that distance is like 1 or 2 light years or something like that. There's a distance where a light beam or a ray of light, there's something about it, basically. It's a little bit more complicated than most people think. I mean, you have to be a supercomputer or at least something at least a couple million years old to really understand it. Anyway, I found myself at a couple million years old. And I also found myself in the possession or understanding of time travel capability. I was very old when I started time traveling. I was like at least a million or so. I don't know. I'd been in existence for a very long time, and I was creating other stars and other solar systems. I think I wanted to do it because I wanted to get some metal or something. I needed some metal. I had some metal. Metal was very expensive. And I wanted to get more metal, and I came upon the theory of, well, why don't I just create it? You know, I mean, you don't have to just mine it. I mean, there has to be a way to create particles. Anyway, I think I might have actually even created particles. I don't really know. I mean, like I say, we're talking about 100 billion years here. So I think I might have always been creating particles. I'm not exactly sure. I created my own particles anyway, or something like that. I mean, there's a sun, there's other things. I mean, there's some crazy stuff about time and space that I knew about and I was doing. And then later on, some other people wanted to like confuse it or something like that. I mean, I had been in existence, but I mean, you know, I mean, but I had thousands, I had millions of people. Like I had whole planets that worshipped me, or at least called me their creator, or their brought them into existence. I mean, there were 5 species or more, and then many more from those other species that had traced me back to basically being the first creator. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I know. I always knew. You always know who you are. You always know what you invented. So anyway, and then and then there's Earth and stuff like that, and then there's other planets. There's like Erin and Terran and at least a couple other nice planets, and then there's all these mining colonies. And the thing was, I changed my name all the time. I changed my ship. I changed everything. I always like to be a little fresh, and this actually saved my life later on when Richard Nixon and John McCain and some other humans wanted to kill me. Because I was so far removed that it's like, well, who is? It's like it's going to take you 100 years to figure out who I really am, or who I really was, to go back and kill me. Like there are millions of life forms out there, and I was one of them. One of the first ones, actually, and before I became Brian. So killing Brian doesn't really do any good. You'd have to go back and kill me before. So anyway. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, my name was Lucifer White. My name was Lucifer Star, or Star and then Lucifer. I named my first my last name after Star because I was commemorating the stars, and I always did commemorations because I like to tie everything in. Like the jewelry tied in with the titanium, tied in with the Panama, because there's Panama titanium jewelry, I think, or something like that. There's jewelry from some of my mines. I would have. Some of my mining camps would send metal in, and I'd make it like, oh yeah, make some jewelry from it. So like the Panama had a jewelry set that would go with it, or something like that. Some of the mines, they had the jewelry, was mined from those mining camps, and then they would put diamonds inside of it and do all that stuff and make it look really nice. And then I would have one of my girls wear it, and I wanted to go and see them and stuff. And like, I mean, it's kind of cool to think that. I mean, it was supposed to be a really good event and everything else like that if it wasn't for Rodney and some other people wanting to confuse the fact that I was creator and everything else like that. It was supposed to be a great vacation, but unfortunately some pieces of decided to make it basically gun law and whoever has the bigger stick. That was Richard Nixon and them. They thought that they could just kill as many as they wanted and just do whatever. Anyway, it really happened it started getting bad around 1918 something, and then 1920, and then 1920 was really bad, and then it was really bad until about 1960, and it turned out to be JFK and all that. So he was driving around as president, driving my Cadillac, my blue Cadillac, so calling himself Blue or something like that, and I don't know. More like dead. So anyway, and then there were some other people in 1940s, and then there were some other people that finally went to Korea and said, well, we found your ruler, your leader, your creator. It's like me, yeah, I know. Like I was always that guy, the real one. So anyway, it's just that Rick Bush and Rodney and a couple other people were trying to like kidnap me and hide me and all that other stuff, and it's like, well, they're not going to be able to hide me in the long run, and they weren't. And my other life forms did find me anyway. So otherwise, I'd be dead, or I was hostage for 900 years, out of existence or something. So, and even died 4 times. So it's kind of hard,